It's a pleasure having you this evening. Let's begin from politics, where former President John Dramani Mahama has said he is hopeful that the Electoral Commission will heed the many clarion call to expand its registration centers across the country. Mr. Mahama made a point after touring some registration centers in Accra to assess progress of the process so far. 5 groups, including the opposition NDC, are currently in court seeking injunction on the ongoing process as the electoral body has gone ahead to organize the limited registration in its 268 district offices. Speaking to journalists after the tour, Mr. Mahama said it is not too far for the EC to make a U-turn. My colleague James Aveji was on that tour and come through with the following report.
So the former President John Dramani Mahama has just taken to the road this Friday afternoon to tour some district offices of the Electoral Commission where the limited registration exercise is currently ongoing. He makes his first stop at the EC Old Headquarters, which is housing some 5 district offices, where he will be proceeding to the La District Office as well as the Adenta District Offices. Before the arrival of the former president, we've caught up with Dr. Omani Boama, who is the Director of Elections for the NDC, who has been calling on the ECOWAS to take some interest in the call of the NDC as well as the other opposition parties.
And I think that ECOWAS leaders, as they show interest in Niger, as they show interest in several other places where democracy is threatened, they should be more proactive. You understand? They should be more proactive because we want to protect this democracy.
So you think ECOWAS should have a say in this issue?
I think that ECOWAS should be alert to these things so that peer review, they should be advising people. And I believe if some of these things are taking place, we may not have had the spate of destabilizations that we've had over the period. The NDC is extremely committed and over 100% committed to the sustenance of our democracy.
We've been receiving reports from the various constituencies, district offices, and today I decided to go around and see for myself. I understand that there are 4 constituencies being registered here. Now that we've seen the challenges, it probably is not too late to open the centers at the electoral areas, because it will be easier for people to travel. I mean, for instance, Ayawaso West Wagon is here. The farthest polling station in Ayawaso West Wagon is at Sator. And so there are people here from Sator who have had to travel all this way to come and register. They might not be able to register today. They might have to go back and come the following day. I mean, we know the conditions in Ghana today, the hardship. We know how transport fares have gone. It's not easy on voters to be able to do that. Of course, political parties are trying to facilitate, you say we shouldn't bus them. And if somebody doesn't have money, he won't come and register because he doesn't have money for transport to come all the way. But if he were in his electoral area, it will be a shorter distance and he'll be able to go there and register. So I think we should still reconsider this issue about registering in the electoral areas. And but in the meantime, I think the EC should resolve the bottlenecks that we're seeing here. 1, there's congestion. 2, the network is not going well. They registered, one of the constituencies, they registered 50 on the first day. Then I think the next day, 80. The highest they've registered in a day is 170. But if you look at these numbers, they'll keep coming every day, and so we need to speed up the process.
What's your personal thought on the back and forth between the 18-year-old who's taking the EC to office, secured injunction, but the EC has gone ahead, secured court order, but they can't find officials to serve them? What's your thought on that?
Well, I'll refer you to a famous case. This was the Dufour case during our primaries. The EC said it had come to its attention. Injunction had been filed against our primaries, and so because of that, they would not be available. They were very proactive. I don't know why they are not proactive in this case.
For us to get the real picture, let's have an interaction with some of them to know how the process has been ongoing so far and what they make out of all of this.
I came here around 11 something and I'm still sitting, I'm still in queue.
Have you started the process already?
No.
You haven't started yet?
Yeah.
Are you hopeful? It's past 3 p.m. now. Are you hopeful that by close of day?
Oh, no. No. Yes.
And so you will go and come back tomorrow?
No, I will not come back again.
If you are not able to do it today, you will not come back again?
Yeah.
Why?
They are delaying. Oh, maybe if it's closer to me, maybe I might go there.
So until it comes closer to you after today, you will not do it?
Yes.
How long have you been here?
Well, since morning. I've been here.
Around what time?
We came here around 8 a.m. Yeah.
Okay. And how many people are in front of you? How many people will go before you go?
Actually, it was almost my turn until they came here to tell me that people were here yesterday and they wrote their names down, so they have to be registered before. So I went back, and now they are here telling us that those people should be registered before, because this canopy belongs to those who were not registered yesterday. Yeah.
Who came to give you that information?
Oh, I think one of the organizers. Yeah.
And so you would have to go back?
Yeah, that's what they are saying.
Reporting from the EC Old Headquarters at Reach here in Accra on day 4 of the registration exercise. My name is James Kwesi Abeji for Joy News.
Still on the EC, some applicants in the limited voter registration exercise in the Asokore-Mampo municipality have had to pass the night at registration centers. They resorted to the early arrival after days of failing to complete registration. Now, the applicants have had to compete with political party agents who use stones and other objects seen in queuing for their prospective electorate. Nana Ojima was at the Electoral Commission's office to observe the hassle of the applicant and filed this report.
It's a few minutes past 3 a.m. A little cold as the dawnlight rains get heavier. The gates of the Electoral Commission's office at Asokore-Mampo remain closed, but in front of the gate are stones and chairs lined up. Each stone represents an applicant. The bench stands for at least 3 people. With time, some people who came in attempted to form another queue of humans, but this would not be accepted by those who had kept awake with the stones and chairs in the queue.
I am a branch organizer for my political party. I am bringing my party members to register. That is why I came this early to queue for them. I could have slept in my house. I was here when you brought your children to queue. I even offered them seats. How do you come and skip our queue here?
We are honorable. We are assemblymen. We are honorable. We are assemblymen. Who want to me?
Do you know when we came, it was around 3 a.m. The assembly member came after 5 a.m. and wants to skip the queue.
Many are left frustrated, spending hours in queue since the beginning of the exercise. Some applicants have queued for at least 2 days, yet have not been successful. The few ones who were fortunate enough to get registered after the second day shared their frustration.
We have been quarreling since we got here at 4 a.m. I got a chance to register around 11 a.m. People are queuing with stones and benches. I have to find a way to jam the queue. We have been standing in the queue since morning. There were no seats for us. We have been coming here for the past 3 days. Sometimes they tell us the network is problematic, then we go home.
Around 10 to 11.
People come in at 10 or 11 a.m. and take the space of the stones. We have really suffered here.
Figures available to Joy News indicate the Electoral Commission is unable to meet the daily target of 300. About 80 applicants were registered on the first day. Less than 300 applicants were successful in the second and third days of the exercise. The number of applicants continue to rise as efforts by interest groups to get the EC increase the registration centers are yet to yield results. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Some aspiring assembly members are taking advantage of the ongoing limited voters registration exercise to show up their support for the upcoming district level elections. In the Bekwai municipality of the Ashanti Region, some aspiring assembly members are hiring vehicles to transport potential voters from the hinterlands to the district registration center at Bekwai. Two of such assembly members say the move is to boost their support base and also assess eligible voters to get registered. Colinsia Ifa has been monitoring the exercise in Bekwai and now reports.
The Bekwai District Office of the Electoral Commission serves 34 electoral areas. The communities are miles apart, presenting transportation challenges for many who have turned 18 and beyond to take part in the exercise. For Bismarck Echampon, an aspiring assembly member of the BD Trafo electoral area, and Michael Ifa, who seeks re-election for the Ofanse Kokobing electoral area, this presents an opportunity.
Well, I intend to contest for the upcoming Assembly election, so I have an interest in the exercise.
They have been busing people from the hinterlands to the registration center at Bekwai.
So I've been telling people to come and register. Sometimes I transport them because once we have an interest in the exercise, you need to make sure that whatever means the potential voters or the first-time voters can get to the center. I've been helpful.
The exercise has generally been smooth in Bekwai, though some network and equipment challenges have been recorded. 168 persons had registered as of 4 p.m. on Thursday. Some first-time registrants shared their experiences with Joy News.
Okay, I'm really excited because this is the first time I'm going to take part in the election of our president and how our country is going to be ruled. So I'm really excited.
So how has the process been so far?
Okay, so with that, I can't testify because I came not long ago. I've been here for like an hour and I'm almost done, so it's really nice being here.
Then I'm happy. My card na mission is said the bear and my men's baby. I'm to media to abadi.
Representatives of the NDC and MPP were happy with the turnout so far.
So far, it has been encouraging and things are moving on well for now. Yeah.
Any challenges?
Yeah, we have a little bit challenges we face here. Mainly, our network is not stable, which doesn't fasten the easy flow of the people to register on time and hold up. And secondly, we in the morning we had a challenge with our machines. One of our machines, it's 2 centers. So one of our centers machine had to break down. Then they have to stop for about two hours, and somewhere later before work on. So by then the pressure was on the other center. And addition to that, the people have been given, some of them have been given the wrong information that when they come, they'll be doing the NIE. They thought this is the NIE, they'll be doing Ghana card. So most of them came with the intention of doing the Ghana card here, but they end up being corrected and redirected to the NIE office where they do the Ghana card. So that's the challenges we have so far here.
Reporting for Joy News, Colinsia Eifa.
Meanwhile, there's an injunction letter from the lawyers of the EC on an injunction that we want to interrogate this evening. My colleague James Aveji joins me via Zoom for details of that particular letter. So, James, what is contained in the letter? James, kindly unmute so we can hear you.
Yes, Carlos, so this letter is actually, as you said, in response to a service of process on lawyers of the Electoral Commission. And it says that, and it's actually coming from Amenuvo and Associates, who say, quote, "We are lawyers of Mrs. Jean Mensah, Electoral Commissioner, and Dr. Asari Bosman, Deputy Electoral Commissioner, Mr. Samuel Tete, also Deputy Electoral Commissioner of the Electoral Commission of Ghana." Now, they say that their attention has been drawn to a news item that a process or processes have been filed for which a personal service of same is required of the purposes of service on our clients. Now, we have our clients' instructions to inform you in writing that they have waived their right to personal service, and we hereby undertake in writing to accept service of the said process in all subsequent processes on their behalf. Please deliver the process or processes to the bearer of this letter, who is a lawyer in our law firm. We count on your usual cooperation. And this statement actually has been signed by one Justin Amenuvo Esquire, who is the lawyer for the three respondents. And so, Carlos, what this means is that some form of clarity has been brought to this issue. What we do not know is whether this is a call for the application to be, the order to be served on them now, or they have received that already. But I'm sure by Monday, we should be getting some clarity on this, and as to whether this would mean that the Electoral Commission would have to halt the process in respect of that contempt of court order. And so by Monday, some clarity should be brought to this issue, Carlos.
All right. Thank you so much, James, for those updates from that particular letter from the lawyers of the EC. Well, moving on, Ghana's housing deficit was expected to hit 2 million last year, yet Joy News checks from the 2021 Population and Housing Census reveals close to 1.3 million housing units in Ghana have been left unoccupied, with Greater Accra, Ashanti and Eastern holding more than 50% of these vacant houses. Joy News' Isaac Kofi Ejay has been mining data from the 2021 Population and Housing Census put out by the Ghana Statistical Service, and he joins me via Zoom with some details. So, Kofi, what is the regional distribution of these vacant dwelling units?
Well, Carlos, let me start by saying that in Ghana we have about 2 million. We need to have about 2 million housing units in order to meet our current housing demand. And although the housing deficit is around 2 million housing units, per our checks from the 2021 Population and Housing Census, we found out that about 1.3 million housing units in Ghana are actually empty. And although the Statistical Service do not state the reason why these homes or houses are empty, per our checks and engagements with experts, we now know that it has to boil down to the issue of cost and then also the high rent and all of those things. So we actually did what we call the Vacant Housing League, and we found that 3 regions, i.e. the Greater Accra region, the Ashanti region, as well as the Eastern region, they account for more than 50% of these vacant dwelling units that we're talking about. For instance, Carlos, the Greater Accra region, we have about over 300,000 housing units that are empty. If you go to the Ashanti region, for instance, over 200,000 houses are empty. Same with Eastern region, about 150 houses are empty. And the bottom 3 are the, I think, Northeast, Savannah, and then also one other region, which all have houses that are empty. But the bottom line is that some of these houses are available, about 1.3 million homes or housing units are available, but the issue has been with cost and then also high rent. For instance, the Greater Accra region, we found out that people are now renting at a high cost rather than probably building in the Greater Accra region.
Okay, so talking about cost, how are people actually dealing with this particular challenge?
Well, so it is interesting also to find out from the Population and Housing Census that we have a significant number of Ghanaians actually living in kiosks, and then also metal containers and wooden apartments. The average is around 18,000 housing units that we are talking about. So people can't afford. Others are going for, cheaper means and alternatives like kiosks, and then also, let me say, wooden structures or containers. And so that is it. The issue has always been cost and then also high cost. But we are glad that we have the 2023 EcoBank Joint News Habitat Fair that, we feel that is going to present, citizens the chance to probably get affordable housing, not just housing, but also materials and anything that has to do with housing. And so this is a great opportunity for Ghanaians that they have to take advantage of the 2023 EcoBank Joint News Habitat Fair, Carlos.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Kofi Adjei, for those details. And so don't go for cheap and less secured alternatives. Be at the CS EcoBank Joint News Habitat Fair and get your housing problems solved. Make your way to the Tema Metropolitan Assembly Yard tomorrow for our next mini clinic. We definitely have fantastic packages for you there. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has begun a nationwide market survey to determine the lead content in cookware. The move is in a response to a publication by environmental NGO Pure Earth, which revealed alarming levels of lead exposure and contamination from the Ghanaian kitchen. Environmentalists are therefore calling for early blood tests and treatment to lessen its impact.
The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has begun a campaign to fight the increasing risk of lead exposure in Ghana. Many Ghanaians are gradually being poisoned by harmful metal lead, mainly through the use of the common cookware, saying. The EPA has therefore begun a market research on all cooking wares to help develop an inventory of brands and their lead exposure levels. CEO of EPA, Dr. Henry Kokufu, says such a catalogue will enable Ghanaians make an informed choice when purchasing products.
We will clamp down heavily, particularly the informal sector, and then also the cooking stoves, the cooking wares, where we can. We will then have to move into the manufacturers and let them tell us through their registration form, their products, the levels of lead therein, if they are lead, so we can inform the public that this particular product, it has this concentration of lead, so if you want to buy or not. And that will not mean killing people's business, but informing the public. The education must be out there.
Country director for the organization that first studied and published its initial studies in lead exposure from cooking utensils, Pure Earth, Esmond Kwanzaa, is advocating for an intensified blood lead level test among the population to help mitigate the risk.
Our mission is to partner with government to be able to address the root cause of lead pollution and poisoning. We are calling for intensified blood lead level testing, not only in children, but even among the adult population. Given what we've seen now, that lead concentrations in our local fabricated that is saying are quite high, and we all eat from it. We're all at risk. And so there's a need for a more blood level testing in the population. The children are more important because their bodies absorb lead twice more than an adult. And so that's why it is very, very important. The focus is on the children now.
The program manager at the Occupational and Environmental Health Unit at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Carl Osei, asked the EPA to pay attention to lead pollution by industries.
Urgent action should be taken to eliminate polluting sources of formal and informal used lead acid battery recycling operations across the country. Not only the informal, but also formal ones that are polluting, especially those located in residential areas.
The health impact of this exposure are jaw-dropping, as health professionals say. Children under 5 years worldwide lost 765 million IQ points to lead exposure.
Now, the Shama District Security Council, together with the Minerals Commission, have discovered quantities of ammonium substances and some explosives in the trenches of the Anto Aboso Quarry enclave. 5 people recently died in a tragic explosion at the Anto Aboso Quarry, with many others sustaining various degrees of injury. Now, the casualties were workers believed to be both Chinese and Ghanaian nationality. More in the following report.
About 6 quarry sites are located at the location where these explosives were discovered. According to the Minerals Commission, such harmful substances could only be kept by companies with permits in a designated area called Magazine. Francis Anobil Jr. is Assistant Manager at the Minerals Commission.
God being so good, there is a bush within one of the communities who found quantities of AN, or ammonium nitrate. But as we speak now, we can't tell which quarry company owns those AN, or which community is coming from, or which individual. So that is next step to take. We have to trace where these things are coming from. But for the meantime, there are approved facilities. We are in touch with those facility owners to transport this AN to those facilities.
The Shama District Chief Executive, Ebenezer Datsi, told journalists intelligence led to the discovery of the explosives which were hidden in the quarry dust in the bush. He said concern for the safety of communities called for the need to rid the community of such substances to avert human errors which may lead to accidents and preventable deaths.
The issue is that because of what happened, they are all afraid. They don't know when some will happen again. And so we took it upon ourselves as DISEC to do this operation so that our people will be safe. They will have the confidence to go about their normal duties. So yesterday, DISEC had a meeting, and upon intelligence, we decided to move out. And God being so good, we came to meet these explosives. We don't know who brought it here. We don't know whom it belongs to. But once we've seen this, we call Mineral Commission to confirm whether indeed it is one of or those things that they use in the blasting, and they indeed confirm that it is explosive material. So we'll hand it over to Minerals Commission for them to store it at the appropriate area or place where they store these materials.
The Minerals Commission days ago revealed that the quarry in Anto Aboso at Shama was operating without proper authorization. The Commission's mine inspectors suggest the company was conducting operations in the night, seemingly to avoid detection.
Let's now take you to the Ashanti region, where students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology will have the opportunity to graduate with a driver's license to boost their chances of job acquisition. A partnership between the university and the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, will enhance operational standards and equip road users with essential driving skills and knowledge. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority is presently undergoing transformation to meet modern transport operations. Through its partnership with the KNUST, an innovation hub will be established to research transportation systems to inform public policy. The collaboration will include training of drivers and capacity building of DVLA staff to uphold standards in its practice. Head of Research, Business Development and Innovation at DVLA, Abraham Zato, explains the terms of the partnership.
We, over the years, have changed the definition of a driving license to one that includes capacity building. Driving is a science. And so we think that it's important to collaborate with universities to ensure that this science is developed properly. The training behind driving is undertaken in ways that respond to the future of driving.
The partnership, when fully operational, will include training of students in driving. The DVLA is seeking to take its processes to the university to grant students the opportunity to acquire a driver's license.
Students go through the driver licensing process under their own choosing. So they understand the academic curricula, they understand the schedules that they have. So they can go onto the system and schedule themselves for the process so that convenience is provided for, time is provided for, not compromising the integrity of the process. And so that is why we are here today at KNUST.
Meanwhile, the KNUST has allocated an office space to host the project. University Relations Officer Dr. Norris Bequin says the partnership is in line with the university's mandate.
We thrive as a university on constructive partnership, and the Vice Chancellor makes it clear every time. And we are who we are, the number one in terms of quality education globally because of this constructive partnership that we have. And we have over 150 in accounting partnership, and this is going to be one of the best, having a regional center of excellence that will train drivers.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Now, the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development, CICOD, has held a workshop for women farmer groups in the transition zone to educate them on the need to craft a sustainable local seed system that will ensure the high-quality seeds of a wide range of crop varieties are available in time for women farmer groups. Now, the purpose of the workshop is also to create an opportunity for the women to share their experiences on local seed development initiatives, as well as discuss strategies for developing and strengthening local seed systems in Ghana to help empower them economically. Anasabit has the rest of the story.
Since the year 2019, the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development, CICOD, together with PFAC, have been facilitating the strengthening of the Ghana agroecology movement as a CSO-led platform that is championing agroecology issues in Ghana. The center has for the past decade promoted and supported smallholder farmers in Ghana to manage, multiply, store and exchange their local and indigenous seeds, mainly using their own intergenerational knowledges, experiences and skills. CICOD has therefore held a workshop for women farmer groups in the transition zone to educate them on a craft sustainable local seed system that will ensure the availability of crop varieties to farmers in the area. Wilberforce Latte is the head of programs for the southern sector at CICOD.
Seed is becoming very important. With the passage of the Plant Variety and Protection Bill, we want to ensure that our local seeds are preserved. So the purpose of this meeting, among other things, was also to discuss the seed issue. They've shared various examples about how they are keeping and preserving seeds. We had the opportunity to visit the Aboso group and see what they are doing with seeds. So this is just a follow-up to the meetings that we've been having, from pest management to weed management, and then now today we have dedicated or focused the meeting on seeds.
He says the move would also go a long way to preserve the culture of the people as well as save these farmers' monies spent in the purchase of seeds during planting seasons.
Seed is not just for planting, it's also about our culture. We'll be able to maintain their culture through that. In addition to maintaining their culture, they will also be able to save costs. Because now if you want to buy seed, it's not cheap. So I don't see why a farmer should go to a seed company to buy tomatoes, okra, and other vegetables. And I think that investing in meetings like this to help them preserve their local seeds will save them a lot of costs.
Some of these participating women, drawn from different women farmer groups from the Bono and Bono East regions, expressed gratitude to the organizers of the workshop for the knowledge shared. President of the Boafoyena Women's Farmer Group, Grace Afas, says the preservation of these indigenous seeds will ensure that these seeds will not be totally out of the system.
We went to the seed bank and I saw a lot of indigenous seeds. I think it is a laudable idea to keep them for future so that the younger generation will come, or future generation will come and see the type of food which is so nutritious to our bodies, which we are living or letting it go just like that. It's a wake-up call for our group.
She adds that the indigenous seeds are much healthier for consumption as compared to the imported seeds and urged farmers to revisit the local seeds for healthier lifestyles.
Anything that is not natural also entails a lot of ill health substances. So keeping our own or the culturally breeded seed, I think that one is helpful because our system is used to it. We have been taking it and it doesn't cause any harm to our health.
Anna Sabit, Joy News, Forikrum.
We take a break, we return with Showbiz. Please stay.